face noise, and other people would be perceiving my face noise in whatever way they think it means, which they haven't defined anyways. And so then there'd be a lack of communication. I think fundamentally, like, good communicators are able to transfer ideas efficiently and describe that person as confident. So maybe they look at you in the eyes when they talk. Maybe they nod their head when they're listening. Maybe repeat back the last thing that you said. Maybe when there's something that has potential risk or downside, they're willing to do it. Like, these are all things that we can observe. And they say, okay, well, if you have you exhibit these traits, these skills in this setting, people describe you as confident. Does that make sense? And so being in a negative context, cool, great. So that was the agenda. It's like, all right, so in order for that to occur, let's talk about the things that when you do them, people don't like them, and they call you good. So it's like when you interrupt people, that's on the manager, and I'll talk to the manager and make sure that they're executing. That's not on you. That's not your role. And so once that got clear, all of a sudden, he just stopped doing the three things that everyone knew, the three behaviors that orchestra don't understand. And so this has been a huge area of interest for me in defining reality. And I think that, honestly, it's helped me navigate reality really well. This is the point that you hit on underpins the fact that most people can't communicate well at all.
Right.
And so if a lot of people want to be different than me, and I am, first in life, there are many things that I've wanted to be different about myself for a very long time. Binaries, are you authentic or not authentic, but how authentic are you? And also in the setting. And if it's like, man, this sounds like it's a little bit more complex, it's like, yeah, welcome to reality.
So how have you been holding yourself back in terms of authenticity?
People want a very neat box with clean lines and say, like, this is the way it is. And I don't think reality is that way. Like, it's not, is this person honest or dishonest? Is how honest are they? How do they lie? You take this with maybe the first way that I've seen, where there's like a recipe. Like, do this. How would you explain it to a child who doesn't know what the word means? And I think that's what a lot.
The patience thing.
Yeah.
But it does appear as though you've made pretty significant strides in applying corrective behavior to those.
More on patience,
traits.
less on anger. But
and how does it?
So I'll give you a real example. So if Layla gets upset, and this is something that I've really actively worked a lot on. If Layla gets upset and she gets she cries if we're having some, I had a tendency to try and comfort for a short period, and then if that didn't work, I would get angry. When I would get angry, she would get scared.
If someone's emotional to me,
Sure.
I have very, very little patience, unfortunately, for it, and it's one of my shortcomings.
Yeah.
Since you fixed that, how have you noticed?
Fixed.
Okay. Since you try to improve upon it.
Just whenever I'm not angry and she's upset. And so either in the moment or immediately afterwards, she's like, thank you for not getting upset, and thank you for being there for me, and thank you for just hugging me and, just waiting it out, essentially.
When you would get angry at Layla, like she would quiet, and you're like, okay, like this works. But then you're able to then see way deeper into the future and then make decisions based off of that.
Even that this isn't going to work long term?
Yeah.
I'll get feedback. To be fair to them. And ideally, we want to have some sort of reward cycle as fast as possible with that new behavior. And I think that's how fundamentally you can change what you do, which then ladders up to people.
Moving on.
This has to be a lot bigger. They have to be billion-dollar opportunities now. When I first started, I think, honestly, the goal was like $50 million opportunities. And then it became like $250 million opportunities. And those businesses, like, if we're going to do a deal, they're all bespoke based on, the valuation of the business, where we can go, what our value add is. And typically in that side, it's like right now we're 40% SaaS, 40% B2B services, and then 20% consumer services. And we're shifting over time towards just a blend of a SaaS and professional that we would do, shall we change it? And so then we wanted to see people interested in it. So January I was like, hey, if anyone wants to come out to our headquarters, you can meet my portfolio team. We'll kind of assess the business and blockages to either make it more valuable or many years. And so my key man risk is something that I'm willing to basically deal with. Whereas if I buy an HVAC business that's publicly associated with it, a potential acquirer would want me to sign some other non-competes. I'll have to have some provisions on promotion, and I just didn't want to do that. I have gone back and forth on it, though, to be really. Like, I've gone back and forth.
Or even without you, it's still higher than if you were never involved.
Agreed. So then the next thing that goes is, if I have all of these different things that I'm like pseudo-promoting, then it almost feels like I'm shilling. I think that's just the nature of just humans. Like, there are way more people who don't have businesses than people who do. Which, 9% of businesses, 9% of people in businesses, 91 don't. And so if we're at 30% or 33% of people who are my started, and And so that's why I invested in school. So I thought it would help the 60-something percent that didn't have businesses get started, and also for the 30-something percent of people who had goal, the question is there something wrong with that, right? And then number two, the MLM component. So I can break that in two parts. The MLM thing is just like we have a referral commission, which is like not a very common strategy in the internet. For you business, you'll probably be 30%. So like, whatever. But yeah, that's just because the internet doesn't do it anymore. So that's the not MLM, the single SL, the single level of marketing that exists there. In terms of
they're used in really inappropriate ways a lot, but inherently, it's just an affiliate program.
Well, I think where it goes wrong is people are deceptive about maybe the practices or
as a result of the system. And so people get false expectations. That being said, I think there's anything inherently wrong about saying like I learned how to do this. I put tons of hours into compiling all this stuff, and if you like me and you like my style of teaching, you can buy it from me in this video course. And I used to have one. Like the question is, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with education or even profiting from education. Colleges do it. Why can colleges do it and give people zero ROI and no one says colleges can? Well, some it's just whether you're going to follow it or it's going to be perfect for you. I just share the stuff that worked for me. If you want to go check it out, it's open to verify it. I don't think anyone's like, screw this guy. Now, some people will be because that's but like anybody would I would consider reasonable. No, and I think to a large degree, like you can't listen to everyone because you will have people who are just upset about you not sharing your stuff as people who are upset about you sharing it. And so basically, MLM has a bad brand.
It does.
There's enough negative associations that people who might be otherwise really good at MLMs still take the heat for them. People who don't have inherent value, yeah, there's tons of those. But do I see that as bad? No. I see it as different, and that's fun.
So, if someone were to take school as an example and just copy it and do their own thing, why do you think that business would fail? And what if that
It's also the detail. Why doesn't someone just copy Facebook? That people just copy exactly to get people.
What if there's another influencer who's backing like school 2.0.com?
Yeah.
Let's just say.
It's also easier said than done, to copy.
I will say the biggest benefit or the best business that you shit on all the time, YouTube Premium. People hate spending money for YouTube because it should be free. I love YouTube Premium. Love it. I think it's worth every penny.
People just think they just project their own shit.